They went fine though. We are ready in the back. Jane, are you ready in the front? You are? Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and start us. I know that you two will be. Sorry. No, it's okay. By the time I get done with the spiel, it'll all be good. Okay. Well, good morning. Today is Wednesday, April 9th, 2025, and we'd like to welcome everyone to the board meeting. We'll call this meeting to order at 9 a.m. The teleconference number is 1-971-254-3149. Conference ID 866-914-607#. Audio capabilities are listen only and are offered on a best effort for the public. Our meeting is also live streamed, and you can join us by going online to our website. Live stream is also available at tctvonline.com. Click on live broadcasts. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everyone to mute their phone. You can do this by pressing *6. Please unmute your phone when your agenda item is ready to be discussed. For those joining via computer, please unmute your microphone and turn on your camera when your agenda item is called. All others must remain muted with their cameras turned off. Thank you. Public comment. Those intending to provide public comment to the board may attend in person or email submissions to the public comments email on our website. Public comments received by 12 p.m. on Tuesday will be distributed to the board, posted online before the meeting, and become part of the public record. You may also provide public comment virtually by registering ahead of time. To register, please email public comments by 12 p.m. on the Tuesday prior to the meeting. Public comments can also be mailed to the Board of Commissioners Office, 201 Laurel Avenue, Tillamook, Oregon, 97141. For more information on public comment options, please visit the Board of Commissioners webpage. So we have called to order. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment in the room or online, Debbie? No. Okay, excellent. Well, then I would welcome everyone in the room. Thank you for being here. And if you would please make sure you signed the guest list, that would be fabulous. And we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Bell, would you lead us?
I will. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have a non-agenda item, and agenda item 12 will be taken before agenda item 6. All right, so we will start with our consent calendar. And do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. So it looks like we're taking agenda item 12, which is consideration of amendment number 1 to subscription services contract number ORMS-0109 with Chavez Consulting for Oregon Records Management Systems with Jeff Underwood. Is Jeff with us this morning? It does not look like it. All right, well, we will keep item 12 available to be moved up as needed to meet, assuming must be meeting Jeff's schedule. Okay, so instead we will go ahead and take item number 6, which is consideration of a resolution in the matter of designating April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in Tillamook County, Oregon. We have Valerie Bundy with us, from the Executive Director of Tides of Change, and some of her staff, so it's great to see you all. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me this morning, Commissioners. As you know, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. We usually come to you all and ask you to help show your support for survivors in our county. And so this year, our theme is Walk with Survivors. And so we're doing a rock painting event so that we can distribute those out throughout the community, so when people are walking, they will see them. The event's going to be on April 16th from 3 to 6 p.m. at the library. And people will be able to paint messages for survivors on rocks. And then we have QR codes that have information to resources on our website, and then our hashtag will be Survivors Rock. If people are really interested but can't make the event, they can reach out to us and we can supply them with the rocks that already have the QR codes on them as well. And so that's our main event that we're doing this year. We always like to remind people, I think most people know our agency for serving survivors of domestic violence, but we also serve survivors of sexual violence, and sometimes people experience both those together. And one of the big things that we have been focusing on with community partners, but that our agency is taking on, is to be able to address the lack of forensic exams for survivors of sexual assault in our community. So for those that don't know, since before the pandemic, we have not been able to provide that service in Tillamook County. So if someone is sexually assaulted and they would like to have a forensic exam done where evidence is collected to be able to participate in prosecution, they have to go out of Tillamook, which, one of the worst things that has happened to you. Now we need you to drive somewhere else. We need you to wait there, go through the exam, which can take hours depending on how bad the assault was, and then drive back. So that is 10, 17 hours once we knew it took for someone to go and come back. So that's not acceptable. And so as community partners, we came together trying to say, how are we going to solve this in a way that's more sustainable than what we had done in the past, which was nurses with really good hearts that decided to become sexual assault nurse examiners, SANES, did that on top of their regular job. And that wasn't sustainable. And so now we have been building a program. Hopefully it will be live in 2025. Our date just has changed a few times, but we have 3 nurses who have already gone. They're completing the last few pieces of their training. And then we have a full-time sexual assault nurse examiner on staff. And so we are really hoping we're going to be live, maybe not 24/7 to start, but we will get there. We are partnering with Adventist Health. They're providing us exam space. We're able to get this out of the emergency department, which is excellent. That's not the calmest place for a survivor that's just been assaulted. So we're really excited for once we're live, and we will come back and share what that looks like. But that's what we're doing right now, is a lot of that. We already provide the advocacy services. We have counseling, we have support groups. So we're really looking at being able to provide the whole wraparound services. And our population that we're starting our SANE services with will be the adult SANEs, which is 15 years old and up. Under 15 is a different type of exam, and there is a child advocacy center in Tillamook County that's working to address that population as well.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions or comments?
Good morning. Thank you for being here. It's my honor to serve on the board of Tides of Change, and I'm so proud of the work that you do and that all of you do. And I thank you for talking about the SANE program this morning, because it's so important. And I was in those initial meetings where we learned that we weren't going to have that service in Tillamook County at all, and how difficult that is for survivors. And so it's been wonderful to be at the table, to have witnessed you and hopefully supported you in stepping up to stand up that program, and to find our community partners coming together to support it, because it's an unusual model. You didn't mention that, but there's one other community in Oregon where there's a community-based model where all the partners come together and say this is important, and we're the second. And I'd love it if you talked for a minute about the grant, because we got an extraordinary grant that only a few organizations in the entire country got. And so I just want to say thank you for taking on this responsibility, which is huge and weighty, and it's a huge project. It's very important, and I know it's been a lot, and it's been a privilege and an honor to see that solution come into being. It's a really exciting thing when community partners come together and say, okay, here's the problem, how are we going to solve it, and then it gets solved. So I'm thrilled about that, and I'm really grateful for your work. Thank you.
Thank you.
So did you want to talk to some
Yeah.
of it?
So we, working together with Adventist Health, had decided we needed grant money to be able to do this project. And so we applied really not thinking we had any chance of getting this funding. It was really to just be able to figure out what we were asking for and work on our grant requests. So we applied for Office of Victims of Crime grant for SANE expansion services. And then to our shock, we were awarded. And then that was like, oh no, we have to jump. But so it is 500,000 for 3 years. We received that in 2022. And we were one of 6 in the US that were awarded that year. And well, all of them say they serve rural areas. We are the actual only rural program in that cohort that was awarded. So it was shocking to us that we received that, and it's been really great because we've received a lot of technical assistance throughout that grant. Because I will tell you, I'm a therapist by training, and I've been doing advocacy work for 15 years, but doing sexual assault forensic nursing, not in my wheelhouse. So it's been a lot to learn and bring on, but we're really excited for where we're at, where we're going with it.
Thank you.
I just wanted to, I wasn't aware that we had nothing local for a while for that long. I'm serving on the Children's Advocacy Center for the same reason, so we can keep that local. So I was unaware, so I'm really glad you are bringing that here, because no one should have to travel.
Yeah.
We have to make it as easy as possible. So I appreciate all that work, and good job getting the grant money.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'll just echo what my colleagues have said, and particularly the very big thanks for the work that you do. Obviously, I worked at Tides of Change way back when it was the Women's Resource Center nearly 20 years ago, and just all of this work is very close to my heart, and I really appreciate what your staff and you do, the difficulty, the depth of what happens every day for your staff as they work with survivors, and the survivors that can go forward because of the work you do. So thank you so much for all of that and for continuing to bring these issues to light. This is something that people don't want to talk about. It's something that all too often the victim receives the blame. And because of that, the stigma around this is just immense. And it's a conversation that we need to continue to have regularly to remind everyone that this is a crime and our survivors did not bring this on themselves. This is not something that they asked for in any way, shape, or form, and that we all need to remember that every day. We need to remember it in the language that we use. We need to remember it in the memes that we see. We need to remember it in the jokes that are made. All of that language matters immensely as we look at stigma. So thank you for continuing to bring that up and to really make all of us look at it, think about it, talk about it, and check our own internal judgments and how we bring them out in the community. So thank you for your work.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else, commissioners?
No. Are we going to ask Valerie to read the proclamation?
Have a copy
Do
of
you
the
have it?
proclamation?
No, because you guys usually read it.
Okay,
So Mary Faith, if you wouldn't mind reading that as the motion.
I would not mind. In the matter of proclaiming, I'm a little froggy this morning. In the matter of proclaiming April 2025 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in Tillamook County, this matter came before the Tillamook County Board of Commissioners on April 9, 2025 at the request of Tides of Change. The board, being fully apprised of the representations of the above-named entity and the records and files herein, finds as follows. 1. Sexual Assault Awareness Month calls attention to the fact that sexual violence can happen to anyone, to our family members, friends, neighbors, co-workers, and even ourselves. 2. Sexual assault is not about sex, but is about the abuse of power that affects people of every age, race, sex, gender identity, sexual orientation, national origin, socioeconomic background, and religion. 3. Recognizing April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month provides an opportunity for our voices to be heard in support of survivors. 4. We walk along survivors to inspire others to believe survivors' reports of sexual violence. 5. We walk along survivors to speak out against harmful attitudes and actions and to commit to change the culture that allows sexual violence to be widespread. 6. We walk along survivors to accept the challenge to end sexual abuse against the most vulnerable, our children. 7. We walk along survivors to support recovery and healing of the adults, teens, and children who've been subjected to sexual violence. 8, we walk along survivors to call for preventing sexual assault, sexual abuse, and sexual harassment. 9, we walk along survivors to ensure every person's right to live free from sexual violence. 10, Tillamook County Board of Commissioners strongly supports the efforts of national, state, and local partners and of every community member to actively engage in public and private efforts to prevent sexual violence, to support survivors, and to hold perpetrators accountable. Now, therefore, it is hereby resolved that the Tillamook County Board of Commissioners joins advocates and communities across the country in playing an active role to prevent sexual violence. Along with the United States government and state of Oregon, we do hereby proclaim April 2025 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in Tillamook County. It is further resolved that the Tillamook County Board of Commissioners encourages all community members of Tillamook County to observe Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Every day is an opportunity to create change for a better future. That's a motion.
I will second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Valerie.
And we will distribute this. I'm just gonna put it down here for right now. I promise, we're not losing it on the floor. Right? Okay. Thank you. So it looks like Jeff has arrived. So agenda item 12, consideration of amendment number 1 to subscription services contract number ORMS-0109 with Chavez Consulting, Inc. for the Oregon Records Management Systems. Jeff, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. So the item before you this morning is an amendment to the agreement that was signed way back in 2011, which kind of surprised me that it had gone that long. This amendment was negotiated by the state with Chavez. So I looked through it. All of the changes are nothing but beneficial to us. They're mainly either adding additional criteria that Chavez needs to be doing, or clarifying, like it used to say that they had to report an incident immediately. Now it specifies it no more than 4 hours. So they've clarified some of the languages and things. It's an absolute, it does nothing but benefit us and keeps our data more secure. So it, from that standpoint, it's a very good amendment for us. Yeah, the state likes it. So I definitely recommend that we accept the amendment.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, questions?
No, I trust Jeff.
No, this is a service we need to have. So, and that is a long time for a contract.
Yes.
Okay, I would accept a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of amendment number 1 to subscription services contract number ORMS-0109 with Chavez Consulting, Inc. for the Oregon Records Management System.
And I will second it.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Okay, moving on to item 7, we have consideration of a contract for goods with Command Sourcing, Inc. for the Justice Facility Fixtures Project. We have Fernando Silveira, Lieutenant with Sheriff's Office. Good morning, Lieutenant.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So we're here today, as you all probably all aware, our issue with our mental health in our little county with the folks that we're dealing with. And unfortunately, Corrections Division is right in the front line of dealing with these folks with these serious mental health issues. And so the jail has been taking extremely steps trying to improve their safety. We've had too many numbers of attempt suicides are very uncomfortable to us. As you're aware, CIS comes through every other year. They walk through the jail and they'll do an assessment and they'll recommend things for us to do, which we have been, myself and my maintenance guy have been going through and trying to cut all the foot bed rests and the headrests because they have bars, and we've had attempts of them trying to harm themselves on those. But unfortunately, recently, we have had 2 attempts, and we almost lost one. So even though we're trying to do those precautionary steps to prevent folks from harming themselves, unfortunately, the beds themselves still have legs, and that's what they're using. Last year, through CIS, we were able to get a grant that we purchased panels to put on the upper tiers of the units, and that project is almost completed, which then prevents anybody from trying to harm themselves by jumping off the top tier. And then we moved on to the beds, but we're still having attempts. So we applied, we started looking into these gel beds that's designed specifically for prisons and corrections divisions. They're just a heavy-duty plastic material that's designed with no legs, nothing, no bars. It's just a bed. And so we were fortunate after some negotiation with some of the companies, I was able to get enough to do 5 units, which is almost the majority of the jail. And that's why I'm here today, for that contract with Command Sourcing. And just so you all know, just recently I discovered that we are the second jail in the state of Oregon that's actually doing this. So CIS is very happy that Tillamook County Jail is actually listening and trying to balance to the best of our abilities to making sure our adults in custody are safe. So
Thank
that's why I'm
you.
here.
Questions, commissioners, comments?
Thank you, Lieutenant. I appreciate you being here and for talking about the problem. I didn't know that it was that common. And so it's very sad, and I'm grateful for your work to prevent people from hurting themselves. And it sounds like a good solution, so I'm fully supportive. Thank you.
Welcome.
I've seen the beds and I've talked to the lieutenant about the new beds. Didn't CIS didn't they give you like a grant or something for some of the panels up on the second floor?
Correct. We got that last year. I'm going to apply again because we still have 1, 2, 3 more units that we just don't have the funds to finish. CIS only allows up to $5,000 per year, once a year only, but anything helps. So if I can get close to another unit done, at least it's moving forward in the right direction. So that's my plan. Once I get these installed, then I'll apply for the grant again.
Right. Keep up the good work. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I agree. I think that unfortunately, you do end up with a lot of the folks who have severe and persistent mental illness because it leads to criminality, and they end up in your care. And perhaps that's not where they really should be, but it's where they are. And so I appreciate your work to make it safer. And then on the financial side, quite frankly, CIS, has shares regularly that that is, I believe, other than employee relations, our jail is our biggest risk. Because of the very things you're talking about, and I appreciate very much the mitigation work that you're doing.
Absolutely. I have an amazing staff, and they are very aware of the current events throughout our state, and I preach to them just about every day. Pay close attention. Don't let anything go by you guys. You need to really focus on this because this could be bad for our county, and they're amazing crews, so they're doing an amazing job.
Perfect. Thank you. We're ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of a contract for goods with Command Sourcing, Inc. for the Justice Facility Fixtures Project.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Y'all have a good day.
You too.
Okay, we're moving on to item number 8. Consideration of an Oregon State Fire Marshal Subrecipient Amendment Number 2 to grant agreement number 2025-HMEP-013 for the Hazardous Material Emergency Preparedness Grant Program. Randy Thorpe, Director of Emergency Management. Deja vu.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I hope you're not getting tired of me bringing this before you. This is the 3rd time now, and but it's good every time I bring it. This amendment here is to increase the amount of money they're giving us by another $7,300. And so as long as these amendments keep doing that, I'll take as many as we can. But what we did is that I met with the Fire Marshal's office, and we were going to send the individuals to Portland to get the the hazardous material training. And everybody started to go, well, why can't we have it here? And it's like, well, it costs a lot more money. And the fire marshal office says, find out how much, we'll give it to you. I said, cool. So that's what we did, is I got some bids out there and got a company that would come in, and he gave me a bid, and that's where I came up with the additional money, and they were more happy to do that. So instead of sending 5 to Portland, we can have up to 20 here.
Great.
So it'll allow us to train more people locally and not have to send them out. Then you got all that problem with travel and all that. So it was really nice. And I was glad this fire marshal's office still had some money they wanted to throw our way. So with that, I'll turn it over to you to see if you would like to accept this and move forward.
Perfect, thank you. Any questions, comments?
Thank you, Randy. We love amendments that increase the dollars. And I just want to say thank you. You are doing an outstanding job of advocating for Tillamook County and asking other agencies, state agencies in particular, for what we need. You're doing a great job of saying, hey, we need this. And because remarkably often, you get what you ask for. So I'm grateful for your leadership. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have nothing more. Echo
Oh,
that.
can I make something off topic? Oh, go ahead and motion. I got something off topic, sorry.
Yes, we'll finish this action.
Okay,
Thank you. So I
sorry.
think we're ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of an Oregon State Fire Marshal Subrecipient Amendment Number 2 to grant agreement number 2025-HMEP-013 for the Hazardous Materials Emergency Preparedness Grant Program.
I will second it.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
I just wanted to inform you of some more great news. Do y'all remember last year when a lot of people in the county applied for the Resilience Hub grant?
Yes.
And the whole coast got stiffed on that? Well, guess what? Orem, the Office of Resilience and Emergency Management, contacted me and said they had some money. And they would love to do something here.
Great.
And so we looked at old applications, and then they had their people look at them and determine where the best bang for the buck is. And we'll be sending a fully equipped 20-foot container to Oceanside and to Cape Mears.
That's wonderful.
wow, that's
Yay.
fantastic.
Yeah, those are the 2 places that they identified, and that's the kind of money they had. So we've already had 2 or 3 meetings with them, so they understand everything that's going on. And the next step is that they'll be meeting with the contractor that's building the boxes to make sure sites are compatible and what they can have. So hopefully by this time next year. So we finally did. It's great. It was really, really nice to hear that, especially in 2 communities that are really moving forward right now and need the help.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what the state saw, is because they've met with those individuals, and they really realize that whatever help we can give them, that will just help the entire county. So,
Fantastic.
but I just thought I'd spread the news before
Good news is
before you
always-
hear it rumored out there.
All right, good news is
Great
always
news.
welcome. Thank you.
That
Okay. We will move on to item number 9, which is consideration of an order in the matter of approving an application for real and personal property tax exemption for Maxwell Mountain Public Access Preservation Corporation. We have Eva Fletcher, property appraiser for assessment and taxation. Good morning.
Good morning. All right, so Maxwell Mountain Public Access Preservation Corporation has recently purchased 3 tax lots on the top of Maxwell Mountain Road, and they are requesting exemption from property taxes under ORS 307115, which is the provision for property of nonprofit corporations held for public parks or recreation purposes. And this particular exemption program is one of the few that require a separate granting authority, which in this case is the Board of Commissioners, to approve or deny the application. So I'll go ahead and share a little bit of information. This corporation is a nonprofit corporation who states that their purpose is to preserve open space for public, including for hang gliding and paragliding, free flight education and training, and to promote accessibility of hang gliding and paragliding to people with disabilities.
and they plan to maintain the 3 lots in their current use, which is undeveloped state, and make them available to the public for recreational uses, including a viewpoint over the ocean, hiking, and a launch for hang gliding, paragliding, and related activities. If approved, this would be a 10-year exemption, and the property owner could renew the exemption by applying at the end of the 10-year period. And then just for reference, last year, the taxes on these 3 accounts totaled $11,430.05.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments, commissioners?
I'm in favor of this. That I was really happy when they actually purchased that land and left it open to the public and actually put parking up there. That was like one of our jewels in Oceanside when I lived there, and I was really mad when they built that house. But I was very happy when the hang gliders, not only, they put like a little porta potty up there.
It's going to be my question, so
They
good.
do have that.
Okay.
And I love the fact they could have gated it and they did not. So I would be in favor of this. I think that the tax revenue is worthy of us preserving that area for public. The only question I have, is there a provision that if they sell the property, that they would lose that tax exempt status?
Yes, exemptions are just for
Just for
what
the
was
current-
stated on, yep.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much.
I am also supportive. I'm fully supportive. I think it's a great use of that land, and I agree with my fellow commissioner. I had the wonderful opportunity to live in Oceanside very briefly one year in a fabulous vacation rental that was rented from June through September. So I got to live in it through the other part of the year. And so very often I walked up Maxwell Mountain, and that was the end of my walk, is that property. And it's a fabulous view. It's open to the public. I got to watch people launch off of there with their hang gliding and paragliding, and it was just a wonderful public access point. And the rest of that land is occupied by houses.
Yeah.
So it's also rare. And so I think this is a great idea.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm happy to hear that they have a porta potty up there. That was one of my concerns, was this is great. Do they have any infrastructure? So no, I think it is what the exemption exists for. And as we are really looking at tourism in our community and having the types of tourists we would like to draw here, that paragliding piece has been something that's been here for a long time, and have been folks that seem to appreciate and understand how to tourist in Tillamook County. So I think we're delighted to further support that piece of recreation in Tillamook County. So I think I'm ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order number 25-015 in the matter of approving an application for real and personal property tax exemption for Maxwell Mountain Public Access Preservation Corps.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you so much, Eva.
Thank you.
Are you familiar with Doctor Who? Have you ever watched Doctor Who?
I have not watched Doctor Who. I've heard of it, but
His Bathmouth, there used to be a TARDIS, which is his time machine.
oh,
They had a porta potty inside this blue, it looks like an English telephone, a police. booth.
nice.
Little history for you.
Okay, well, thank you. Okay, moving on to item number 10, consideration of an order in the matter of adopting a supplemental budget for fiscal year 2024-2025 and appropriating funds. Sean Blanchard, Treasurer. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Commissioners. So a couple weeks ago, we had a supplemental budget hearing with the committee and yourselves to adopt a supplemental budget. This increased some funding in the parks, also in PC Woods Parking Management to cover some of their infrastructure costs, also to adopt a clinic and pharmacy, new department within the health department, and then 2 CJC Behavioral Health Deflection and Specialty Court pass-through grant funding funds. So before you is the order to adopt it.
Perfect, thank you. Any questions or comments, Commissioners?
No, as the treasurer said, we all discussed and approved this a couple weeks ago.
Okay, I think we're ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order number 25-016 in the matter of adopting a supplemental budget for fiscal year, 2024, 2025, and appropriating funds.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Moving on to item 11, consideration of a resolution in the matter of transferring funds from departmental appropriations to contingency and reducing spending authority in fiscal year 24-25 due to state timber revenue shortfalls.
So this is kind of the same situation. About 10 years ago, we had the same issue come up where our timber revenues came up short. Over the past year, during this fiscal year, we've had several budget roundtables and discussions of increasing revenues, where we can find new revenues, but also where we can balance our budget within our means that we have now. What was discussed was removing the spending authority, no FTEs, no nothing. It's just the spending authority within budgets, which I think has gone on for several years, is that people have seen, I haven't spent money on various things such as vacancies or materials and services, and they turn around and want to spend it on something else. This is reducing that authority within their budgets for this fiscal year only. There's also many items that we were able to transfer to the ARPA funding and reduce budgets that way also. So not just based on vacancies, but also materials and services spending our money down.
Thank you. Questions or comments, commissioners?
I would, I'm supportive of this for the reasons the treasurer stated, and I would add that we received a letter from a constituent. I think this was on our agenda a couple of weeks ago, and then it got postponed. And we received a letter from a constituent responding to this, who was confused about whether or not we were cutting positions in the sheriff's office. So I'll reiterate what you just said. We're not cutting positions from the sheriff's office. We're just saying that for the unfilled positions that have been unfilled in this fiscal year, there's that money that's been saved from those unfilled positions, and we're moving that money back into the general fund. That's all we're saying. The positions are unfilled, the money hasn't been spent, and we're removing the authority to spend it on something different.
That's pretty much what it comes down to. If items were to change, say the timber revenue does come in and the sheriff decides he has 5 people right there right now, it would be in contingency to move back into his budget.
I would just add that I think the departments have already voluntarily accepted this months ago, and I think have been doing the right thing the whole time. So this is just a formality at this point because they've done it, which is great. And they understand exactly what you just said. So
I think a lot of the departments have been taking a look at the other counties, the cities, school districts, and they're seeing what's going on there with their budgets, not only this year, but in the next couple of years. And I think everybody's really been on board with trying to mitigate that for Tillamook County to maintain the services that we have and still looking outside of what they can do to improve those services.
I would agree, and I would also credit the budget committee meetings we had throughout the year. I feel like these departments now feel like I feel like there's a lot more ownership of us working as a team together to kind of be in a better position. So I'm obviously in favor of this. We already talked about it.
Okay, thank you. I agree with my colleagues. I think that this is a good option and opportunity for us to just be wise with our funding, and I really do appreciate the work that's been done by the whole county to get us here. So, and thank you, Sean, for bringing this forward so that we can really just, codify the good work that's been done to say we want to be thoughtful about how we spend our money and save wherever we can. So we're ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval of order number R25-006 in the matter of transferring funds from departmental appropriations to contingency and reducing spending authority in fiscal year 2024-2025 due to state timber revenue shortfalls.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Sean. Okay, we are going to have an executive session. So before we do that, are there any board concerns that anyone would like to share today?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay, with no board concerns, I'm gonna go ahead and read our announcements, as I don't expect us to make any decisions today, and so we will just come back out to close the meeting. So a public workshop of the Tillamook County Budget Committee will be held on Wednesday, April 9th, 2025 at 1 p.m. The workshop will be held in the Board of Commissioners Meeting Room, 106 in the Tillamook County Courthouse, 201 Laurel Avenue, Tillamook. An additional budget workshop meeting will be held on Thursday, April 10th, 2025 at 10 a.m. The teleconference number is 1-971-254-3149. Conference ID is 866-914-607#. There is no board briefing scheduled for Wednesday, April 9th, 2025. I was going to ask you, so Rachel will tell us under, what, I was just going to ask Bill about what we were going to executive session under, and he's just evaporated. So please, Rachel.
Good morning, Commissioners. We're going into executive session under ORS 192-660 sub 2 sub F to consider information or records that are exempt from law from exempt by law from public inspection.
Okay, thank you. With that, we will recess this board meeting at 9:40 a.m. And since it's going to take a minute anyway.
We don't need to have plausible deniability, but what we're gonna do. Hey, Trevor, your production, you get a haircut.
I like it.
Good.
Yeah. Good. Who did you find to do it? Okay, good. I know you're worried about who to go to. I was about to.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so we will come out of executive session and restart the board meeting at 11:21. Yeah. Can you hear me? It's on? Okay, so we will come out of the executive session now at 11:22. We will reconvene the board meeting and we will adjourn the board meeting at 11:22.